Unless you've been living under a rock, you will know that 1 week ago yesterday, the Burmese army took over the government of Burma in yet another coup. The military conducted early morning raids and cut communications nationwide. Aung San Suu Kyi, the country's de facto leader, has been placed under arrest again. Suu Kyi spent 21 years from 1989 to 2010 in and out of house arrest. The government and pro-military parties refused to recognize her as the elected leader of the country. In 2020, the elections were held, and they were free and fair, and Suu Kyi's party won the majority of the seats. Obviously, the military, who wrote the country's constitution, did not agree with the election results and reverted back to military rule. On the 1st of February 2021, in the early hours of the morning, the military conducted dawn raids and detained most politicians in government housing complexes where they lived. The military charged Suu Kyi under the country's vague import-export law. The military alleges to have found illegally imported walkie-talkies in her home, thus leading to her arrest. The day the coup d'etat took place coincided with the opening of the newly democratic elected government, which was to take place later that day. The catalyst for the coup was the military's accusations that there were widespread voter fraud, and thus the leaders of the coup declared a state of emergency for 1 year. Experience dictates that this 1 year of a state of emergency will last much longer. As previously mentioned, this is not the first coup Burma has experienced. The first coup began on the 2nd of March 1962 and lasted until 1974. I argue that the coup never really ended. The coup leaders handed power over to the People's Assembly, an embodiment of ex-military leaders, thus making a future transition to military rule easier. In fact, the military took over again in 1988, maintaining power under a military junta for a further 23 years. With a military-penned constitution and an already desensitized population, the perpetration of the country's military rule continued. In the days since the coup, many Burmese citizens have protested in the streets calling for the freedom of Suu Kyi. Many essential workers have gone on strike. World leaders have come out to condemn the actions of the military, but no real action has been taken. I anticipate economic sanctions, but Burmese and Chinese relations are strong, so unless China steps up to condemn the nation, then sanctions will mean very little. Current trade between the two countries stands at $1.4 billion. China is staying silent on the matter and even blocked a proposed statement on the coup at a UN Security Council meeting last Tuesday. Now, I think it's safe to say that there is no love lost between Suu Kyi and I. Never have I seen a worse display of genocidal apologetics in all of my life. When I witnessed her speak at the ICC, I screamed with such vexation at the utter disregard shown for her own countrymen. Moreover, her audacity in telling the ICC to mind their own business, blame of others, and finger-pointing at the unpunished genocide in other countries was boundless. Her speech was a genuine show of poor statesmanship and an insult to the Rohingya peoples, who sadly are not recognized as Burmese citizens due to colonial carvings of Asian countries. One would presume that Suu Kyi may have some resonance of her fellow citizens' plight, given her own mistreatment by the military. But alas, when you're at the top, and out of danger. Apparently kindness and defense of those below flies out the window. Regardless of my distrust and non-discriminatory despisement for Suu Kyi, the elections happened, the people voted, and she won. If the world does not act soon, I fear that Burma will slide back further and deeper into military rule. With no reaction to this coup, the Burmese people will never get the democracy they have fought so hard to attain. If you want to help the Burmese people, then please consider writing a letter to the President or the United Nations. It is only with pressure that we can grease the wheels of global politics and help our neighbours. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.